this is very easy to explain. Payers are people who just paid in the past 12 months in game. So it doesn't mean they are going to pay in your particular game or anywhere, but they will pay in somewhere. So mobile, it's the biggest segment that you see from here. It's almost half of the gaming market. It's growing, but it's growing mainly due to casual gaming. So there are like casual gaming, core gaming, hyper casual. Hyper casual is also growing, but it's growing from the very low user base, from the not user base, but revenue base. Casual gaming is growing. I will not go deeper into details why it is growing, but to make it short, it's growing due to existing big players. So say Monopoly Go, say Royal Match, say everybody else in the market who are very, very big. It's not growing due to, for example, like new indie launches. This is not happening. And core gaming is declining. Again, this is the trend of very big players. This is a trend for like 4X strategy game, for turn-based RPG, and but you see the download trend is vice versa. This is something that is happening in this industry over time. But again, what we see here, the main thing here is that it is just plus 5%. Even in casual, even with Royal Edge, even with Monopoly Go, it's plus 5%. It's not this. The core gaming is also is declining. And hyper casual, again, they earned $200 million, but they had like billions of installs. And what we see here is a little bit of a problem for our industry. When the hyper casual is starting to monetize their users better, they stop selling users to you. So they stop selling users to another games where the players can pay, because why do they sell the good user who can pay in their game? They're not going to do it. And what is also a problem is that non-gaming learned how to monetize users and started acquiring them very aggressively. And what we see here is the percentage of the spend of users in mobile apps divided by categories of like gaming versus non-gaming. So as you see here, it is definitely declining over time. If we take a look back into 19 to years, it's going to be like 75% gaming and then 25% non-gaming. Right now it is 58% gaming and 43% non-gaming. In United States it is more. So in the United States, in Q3 2024, I think it was the first quarter when the non-gaming revenue surpassed the gaming revenue. Because I mean, there are a lot of stuff there. There's social apps, entertainment, and there are a lot of health and fitness apps who knows how to monetize users. Why is it bad for gaming? Not very bad, but not very good. Is that they're competing on the same auction to buy the user, and if these non-gaming apps know how to monetize user the same way the gaming knows, then they can probably overbid it. But there is also one trend which is happening across both gaming and non-gaming, the drop of retention. We see it across, this is data from AppsFlyer, and we see across all the industries, almost all the industries, the retention rates are dropping. They're not dropping massively, to be fair. In gaming, it's not dropping massively, it's almost on the same level, but it's declining. Why is it happening? Because the...
Go back.
Yeah, because...
Can you go back?
Yeah.
It's a very nice slide.
So why is it happening is that the average, so this is a nice fact. So average human attention span 24 years ago was 30 seconds. Right now it's 8 seconds, which is less than a goldfish. So humans are actually paying less attention to something than a goldfish. Why is it also important? Is that this is very important in terms of like how you structure your ads. So previously we were definitely talking about first 5 seconds matter, because the first 5 seconds is where user can and then he can probably not go back anywhere. And then right now a lot of other networks are using non-skippable formats, and there are also an option to do it on YouTube. But again, so attention span is very low. So if even if user had seen your ad, he will pay attention for just 8 seconds. It's not very big number of amount of time. Why is it? Is that people multitask. So average person in the United States, right? Maybe it was converted to video. Yeah. So the average person in the United States has almost 32 hours in his day, which is, I mean, if you take out sleep when people are not multitasking most of the time, you will get something around less than 18, so 17 hours of like all the time in which people are multitasking more than 50% of the time. So it's massive. A lot, and gaming is here. It is okay. So gaming is here. Gaming is it's almost 2 hours per day, but a lot of people are multitasking, and we know that there are a lot of people who multitask, not only combining gaming with, for example, watching videos and watching movies with his wife, for example, myself, but there are also people who multitask gaming with gaming, which is not obvious, but again, so people can play 2 games in one moment. For example, me, I'm playing Apex Legends on my PlayStation, and at the same time, because I'm working with mobile gaming, I have to test all the games, and then I'm playing Township or whatever my clients are working on right now on my mobile, while I'm waiting for the lobby to start. This is something that is happening, and this is definitely what impacts a lot the game. Why does it matter? Why does this competition with, for example, video, which is like the biggest one after sleep, why does it matter? Because people who multitask, who like spend a lot of time watching videos, you're competing with entertainment industry as well, and entertainment industry is doing a lot. They're doing 10 updates per week, and you see it like on the right here, that there's Netflix content update. They do a lot of content updates, and this is why a lot of biggest companies, gaming companies, they're keeping the pace. So you see they are doing around 12 events per week on average, which is also massive. And it also, what does it mean? It means that people are demanding a lot. They demand like massive number of updates. They demand massive number of content to come to your game, and this is very expensive to produce. I mean, I was talking a lot about how it is bad, but there are good things happening, and AI is one of it. Being a Google, if we were not talking about AI, I would be fired probably. Yeah, I mean, we know that a lot of studios reporting that they're using AI, and we know that but to be fair, at the same time, it is not your competitive advantage if you're using it right now. Right now, it's commodity. A lot of like all the gaming studios are using AI in some ways. Your competitive advantage might be using it more than them, but the fact that you're, for example, using ChatGPT or Gemini or any kind of product there, it's not like your competitive advantage anymore, because it is used anywhere. It is used in visual arts. It is used in business and finance. And this data was done for HGC, which was taking place in February. I do think that right now it's like twice in the lowest section, and I think it's like 80% in the business and finance. There is also like another opportunity is geo expansion. So if you're, for example, if you're looking into your game, there are a lot of geos where you can go and where you can scale, and this region is actually one of them. UAE and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is a very prominent market. which is massive, which is the same scale as Germany if you look at it, and it is growing. So the expected year over year is 13% in UAE and Saudi Arabia, and there are a lot of gamers in this region. So it's 33 million of them, and the demographics here is very different from what you see in all the other regions, because people here are mainly younger. People here are mainly to work, to they have less free time probably comparing to people in Europe and comparing to people in United States, because there are less people without any job here. And but at the end of the day, these people have a lot of money, and there is a lot of opportunity to get into this market, which is not something that we see right now from our clients as well. I mean, they do expand to this region, but they're not doing it massively. So they're not optimizing towards it. This is just a part of the rest of the world. But we do think that it will become a trend in upcoming years. Another opportunity are people who follow the Chinese. Okay, so this is follow the Chinese gaming trends. Who are these people? These are people actually living in Taiwan, for example. These people are, so you know that Chinese market is quite closed. It's not really easy to get into the Chinese market if you are like non-Chinese game developer. They are giving the licenses, but I mean, it was around 1,000 licenses last year. It's not a massive number, and it is again very different market from our perspective, from anybody's perspective. It's very different market. There are other trends in there. But there are a lot of people who speak Chinese, who follow these trends, who are in the Chinese context, but they're not living in China. A lot of them are living in Americas. A lot of them are obviously living in Asia, because this 34.6 million, and this is mostly Taiwan, where because this is Chinese. This is very very interesting territory, and these people have full access, for example, to Google products in terms of marketing ability. So it's easier for you to target them, and it's easier for you to, and they are also paying more for. If you compare the RPU in gaming in mainland China, according to the Statista, it is $64 per year, and it is 204 in Taiwan, just because it's much smaller and much more the GDP per capita is higher there. One more opportunity in terms of geo is India. The population there continues to grow, and as well as the internet population, because you see the trend here. In 2023, in the January of the average speed was around 30 megabit per second. In June 2024, it's more than 100. So the country is digitizing in a massive scale. I mean, back in the days, I was doing the presentation for App Immersion in 2018. It was taking place, and we were talking a lot about India, because it just started there in 16 years, and the reason for it was the person whose name is Mukesh Ambani, who provided Indians with internet by his Reliance Technologies, and he also distributed a lot of devices. So people, back in the days, they started using smartphones, and right now, a lot of them have smartphones, and they know how to use it, they know how to pay in them. And what does it mean? It means that a lot of them are now exploring the next step. And so you see on the left, there is a number of Apple iPhones shipped in India from like 17 to 23. You see the number in 23, it's about 10 million per year, which is like not massive if you compare like 2 times per year, which is massive. And a lot of them have now access to 5G. So if you, for example, are working on a multiplayer game, there is not a big problem in terms of like of Wi-Fi, in terms of like internet connection. They have access to it, and this is also an interesting market in terms of scaling there. There are a lot of regulation and regulatory perspective in India, but it is mostly impacting the games that are using RMG mechanics, that are using the social casino stuff and so on and so forth. If you're just traditional gaming, it's not gonna be a problem for you. And there is also like a lot of opportunities to launch something new. So we took a look on the industry here, and we took a look at the genres that experienced significant entry of new titles versus the genres where there is like nothing new and only established titles are dominating the market. On the right, you see this like obviously dominated markets. This is like Match 3, for example. Good luck to launch the new Match 3 game when there is Candy Crush and Royal Match and Homescapes and Gardenscapes. There is like City Builders, which is obviously SimCity. There is a lot of like this genres, but at the same time there is a lot of opportunity to create something new. So, for example, this pachinko, which is the new genre of the game. The Linko is also the same. It's a new genre. It's something new that is happening in the industry, and we do believe that by combining the mechanics from one genre and creating the new mechanics, this is the best way to scale if you don't have massive resources behind yourself. There's a lot of learnings again when you're launching. You can utilize learnings from, for example, Squadbusters, which is the franchise usage and well-prepared branding campaigns can boost the new titles. So if you remember their campaign, it utilized a lot of influencers, of performers like Thor, and they also utilized a lot of assets from their old games. So if you have, like for example, an old game and people know about it, if you're Supercell, it's very good. You can take, for example, the models from Clash of Clans, from Heyday, from Brawl Stars, and you can create a new game out of these models, which will significantly decrease the cost for development, but also help you to decrease the cost of marketing because people are aware of like what are you doing at the end of the day. There is a lot of learnings from Legend of Mushroom, which was another big success from last year, from this year. They did a lot of work with community, and this is very important in this because people in this mid-core to hardcore genres, people are more community-based than in casual, and having community on board helped them to scale massively. Again, they spend millions on UA, but this helped them to scale massively and become the number one in App Store and in Google Play, which was a big success this year, and I think they continue to grow. They also implemented a lot of social mechanics, which is quite a thing because they're mostly targeting a lot of younger audience, and the younger the audience, the more social they are. We've recently made a research with GWI, and we've seen that, for example, like 50% of people who are playing games in Generation Z are ready to drop the game if their friends are stopped playing it. So it's a lot there. And among spenders, you see the data here, 15% are willing to spend even more when they're actively engaged in community. And because community is forcing you to make payments to push forward if you're doing it the right way. Then there is a learning from Monopoly Go. this is the interest of Monopoly Go versus the Ferrari, and I mean not Monopoly Go, the Monopoly brand. So what they did, they actually took the very well-known brand Monopoly and made a lot of like. I think my LinkedIn actually broke in one day, and I've seen I don't know 25 to 30 the construction of what Monopoly did better than anybody else in the market. I do think that they made a lot of work on certain products, so they made a very good product. But at the same time, they utilized a very big brand, and this is like two multipliers in their success, which was obviously driven again by the massive investment in the UAs. Oh, I think I had a summary slide, but anyways, thank you for your attention. I think that's it, and I will not put the summary here. So, but yeah, again, I don't know why it was there. Maybe it was copied later. Okay, so the summary here is that just like economy is doing all right, but tourism is taking a lot of money from us, from gaming, and gaming is struggling to find money because non-gaming is also competing with it. But gaming can grow further. We do expect gaming to grow actually. I mean, at the end of the day, gaming is still coming from this COVID. So it's rehabilitating after this COVID boom when massive number of like investors came to gaming and invested a lot in very bad products. Right now they're all dying, and we expect that at the end of the day, the gaming will continue to grow healthy, like 10%, 15% in some days, maybe in the coming years. And thank you very much. By the way, if you have questions. I don't know.
I do.
Okay.
What's your opinion? What would happen with the ads compared to in-app monetization?
Ads versus snap.
Yeah, in gaming industry.
I would say that if you're looking at this, it did grow. So the ad monetization, if you take a look at the whole picture, according to several data sources we have, the ad monetization is growing faster than in-app monetization. It is, for example, like according to different sources, it's around 5 to 15% growth. But it's bigger than in-app purchases in terms of like the growth. We do see that like a lot of gaming publishers who had only in-app purchases monetization, they now are shifting their focus towards. It was a trend last year, for example. They were shifting their focus to invest more into implementing the ads. This year, it is. I would say it's stable. I mean, if we take a look into 2024 specifically, I would say from what we hear from our clients is that it is mostly staying in the same place. Most of very big partners, they're not risking to add enough ads to their game because again, what they're afraid of losing their audience to another game or customer, and this is something that they're not willing to do. But a lot of hyper casual is definitely there growing. So yeah.
So you've got Monopoly Go. What other brands have you seen like doing really well in the past year? Or IPs that can make the game?
Oh, this is a tricky one. I would say that in terms of like IP and yeah, in terms of IPs and brand, there are two ways how gaming is utilizing IPs. The first thing is that you're making the game like Monopoly did. Out of code. And there is another way as a collaboration, and we see a lot of collaborations in gaming, and we see non-obvious collaborations in gaming. For example, like 2 years ago, there was a collaboration between Barbie and Candy Crush Saga. Sorry, not 2 years ago. Last year. This year, there was a lot of collaboration between. So I would say Fortnite is the biggest one because they have massive brand by their own, and they are also collaborating a lot with other brands. we see here is that it is for very, very, very like top 0.01% of the market. So for now, we don't see a lot of cases in the mid market. We see some of them. So for example, My Games collaborated with, I would not say this was like a brand collaboration, but they collaborated with influencer Jake Paul. This is something that is happening, but it is not like, for now, it is not something that is happening every day and in the mid segment as well. This is very like for the very, very top market.
Yeah, what about store commission? There is a trend about web traffic, like web app to web, like web pages, it's custom stores in the apps. So like they try to build it to just avoid the store commission. So like, do you think like there will be some changes in the nearest future? Like kind of Google monopoly?
I'm not from the Google Play, and I'm not able to comment on how Google Play will react to this or will not react to this. I would say that it is a trend we see as well. We don't know yet how massive it is. I mean, I don't think that anybody in the market, except for like maybe several players, can estimate the total number of players who are actually paying for example web shops. We do see it as a trend. We don't know yet where it comes. Is it more convenient for users? Is it more convenient for developers? It is definitely saving them some money for now, but again, we don't know yet where it comes. So this is something that we're just observing. We're not pushing anyone there, and yeah, that's fine.
Good.
I think no further questions.
Yeah,
then.
one more.
Okay.
With the AI side of things and the development speed that's coming at, how do you see yourself managing that mass of different new games and content being put onto the platform? And like, how do you guys are going to decide what goes is promoted or not so much?
It's a good question actually, and this is the question I don't have an answer directly. I do think that it is definitely something that is going to happen because the cost of production is reduced massively for gaming, and a lot of like new content will be generated. But this is something that we see not only in gaming. This is something that we see on YouTube, on TikTok, on any platform that is related. Like I mean, anywhere where the content is, it is created cheaper, and this is something that we see. I do think that it will be again, it will be a new reality where just like new games will appear more and more frequently. They are gonna die faster, and again, I do think in terms of like promotion, this is a good question. How Google Play will promote the games who have just launched and who were made by AI. We don't know. We don't know. I mean, we do think that. So it's not going to be. We don't think it's going to be massive destruction because again, mostly the games that are promoted are the games that are loved by the players. So you have to find some audience first, and then it will be promoted. But maybe it will change in the coming years.
Thank you.
Thank you for your information. It was so useful for me. But I have a question. Can you have access to this presentation somewhere, or you put on LinkedIn or somewhere else?
I don't think we have an externalized version of it. I will. I think you may. It's a tricky one. To make it external, we have to go through a lot of approvals. I will think about this question and get back to you. You may contact me on LinkedIn. I will probably try to keep it.
Thank you.
Yeah.